Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to continue looking at the Industrial Revolution. We've gone over the causes which led to the Industrial Revolution. Now we're going to look at how England starts the Industrial Revolution and why they're able to do so. So let's do some background information first. It begins around 1800. All right, so you start in the 1800s, and England, as we said in the title in the intro, England starts it, and it starts here, okay? And as England begins industrializing, they start passing this industrial knowledge along to other countries, mainly America, Japan, and France. And then from there, it would expand even further as America increases industrialization throughout North America. Japan increases it throughout Asia. And then the combination of Great Britain and France spread industrialization throughout Europe. And so that is how it starts with Great Britain, and then you see it kind of branch out and expand across multiple continents. So now we look at why. Why Great Britain? Why does it start there? And well, number one is its geography. So why? Number one is geography. The geography of Great Britain we've talked about. It is an island that looks probably nothing like this. But it is an island, which means it's surrounded by water on all sides. And so because of that, because it is an island, they have boats and ships and very, very good transportation system. And that transportation system allowed for trade back and forth between England and other countries. And so that trade, that constant trade back and forth between England and other countries created a need to make more stuff. And that making more stuff allowed them to continue to trade and to make more money in that way. Additionally, because England is an island, they're constantly looking for new forms of energy. And those new forms of energy come as the Industrial Revolution progresses. And that's because Great Britain needs those forms of energy because they're an island. They don't have as great of access to other resources that they may need. And so that's reason number one. Reason number two, politics. Reason number two is politics. And simply put, the British government is very strong. They have a very strong government. And because they have a very strong government, they have lots of money. They have lots and lots of money, which enables them to kind of jumpstart this process, this idea, this industrial movement. And so that brings us to number three, reason number three, which is also kind of tied to their strength in government. but that is exploration and colonization. And so England does a very, very good job during the age of exploration and during the colonial process. And so they have all over the world a bunch of colonies. All throughout the world, they have a bunch of colonies. And the colonies are sending, and this kind of goes back to the abundance of boats, but they're sending natural resources. They're sending natural resources or raw goods to Great Britain. And so these natural resources are going, these natural resources, these raw goods, raw materials are going to Great Britain. Great Britain is taking them and sending finished goods created via factory or whatnot, and sending those finished goods back to the colonies, which are in turn sending money back to Great Britain. So because Great Britain has control in these colonies, they're able to get these natural resources for free. They're not paying. They're not paying for those natural resources. And so those natural resources are going to Great Britain. The workers in Great Britain are taking all of these resources, creating something or a finished good, sending it back to the colonies, and the people in the colonies are willing to pay for those finished goods because they're not aware that it is their own natural resources that Great Britain is using to make these things. So they're paying large sums of money for these finished goods. And so this is happening in multiple colonies all throughout Great Britain, which is just increasing and increasing their money. Well, money drives this idea. As Britain continues to make money off of their various colonies, they want to do this more. And so you see an increase in their factories. And once they find those new forms of energy, they continue to want to get more stuff, get more materials, so that they can keep making finished goods and sending them to the colonies and selling them and making money. And it's just a big cycle that all comes back to Britain making money. And once they're making money and other countries, like we talked about at the beginning, see that they're making all of this money, other countries want to make money like they are. And so that brings us to number 4. And number 4 is what we call the factors of production. The factors of production. These are the things you have to start a company. And in a way, the Industrial Revolution is a company. And Great Britain has all 3 of them. Number 1, the first thing they need is land. They need land that they can build on. And they can turn this land into a land that has a factory here, and a factory here, and a factory here, and a factory here. Land that you can build and put these factories on. So that's number 1. That's the first factor of production. Number 2, you need labor. That's just regular people who don't have a job, and you send them to the factories that you built, remember, on that land. So you got people that are willing to go to these factories and work in them. And England has a large abundance of people. We talked about one of the causes being the agrarian revolution, and poor farmers who had their land bought from them by rich farmers, all of a sudden need something to do, and they don't have jobs. And so they're willing to go to these factories and work. So they have the first factor of production, which is land. They have the second, which is labor. The third one, capital. And capital is money up front. All it is money up front. And you're taking that money, you build the factories, and that factories give you more money back. And then you take the money and you build more factories, and that gives you even more money back. And it continues over and over and over again. And so England looks at all of these England realizes I have all three. I have all three factors of production. And so England is able to kind of start, they're able, because they have all three of these, they're the country that is best equipped to take this chance, to make this jump to a new lifestyle. That's why it's a revolution. It's not a war like the American Revolution or the French Revolution when it was fighting and death. This is just a revolution because it changes the way of life. This is a social revolution, an economic revolution. Things change. Instead of making money through farming, they're changing to more industry. Instead of people focusing on farming techniques, they're focusing on working in these factories and how can I make myself wanted as an employee in these factories. And it all comes back to all four of these. England's geography. Trying to figure out how I look at it. England's geography as an island leads them to having to come up with a new way. And they already have all of these ships, and they're conducting trade back and forth between England and these other countries. And so if they're making money through trade, well, how can we make even more money through trade? Well, in order to trade, we have to have more stuff. Well, in order to make more stuff, we need new forms of energy. And both of those were causes of their revolution. You saw the energy change in our foldable, the energy revolution, and the agrarian revolution. The agrarian revolution was moving away from farming. Well, England had already done that. And looking at new ways to have energy, moving from human and animal power to technological power. And England was already doing that. Number two, politics. England is probably the biggest, the baddest, and the strongest country in the world at this time. And therefore, they have a whole lot of money. And they're able to take this risk because of that large sum of money. Three, what they've already done, exploration, the colonies. They were very good in the age of exploration. They had colonized a lot of places. They were imperializing places. And that was allowing them to get the goods that they needed to make things, to conduct this trade. And they had the three factors of production. They had the land, they had the labor, they had the money up front. And so they're able to lead the way in this lifestyle change known as the Industrial Revolution. And as everyone sees England do it, The idea spreads to other countries, and then it spreads to other continents. We're going to stop here for today. You have a lesson on Canvas. Reach out to me if you have any questions about the notes, about the assignment, or about anything we've done so far. And as always, have a great day.